Hey, welcome to World Entertainment. And if you remember, they announced a Deathstroke and Bane movie. Remember that? God knows why they did it. And of course, we keep getting told none of these things are happening without a script. If a script ain't finished, it ain't happening. And now look, we're getting DC Studios, Deathstroke and Bane movie may have found its director, and they have DC experience. They directed Peacemaker, apparently, or a few episodes. But what's interesting about this stupid thing is none other than, yeah, you've probably already guessed it, apparently it doesn't even have a script. Not the case of, well, it's got a first draft and blah blah blah. No. It doesn't have a script at all. So, how exactly then are we getting told that this thing has a director? How can you have a director and be moving along if you don't even have a script? That is just stupid. Well, let's have a look anyway. So, in September of 2024, the news broke that DC Studios was developing a Deathstroke and Bane team-up movie from Captain America Brave New World and Moon Knight writer Matthew Orton. So, as you can see, they were meant to put it in development since 2024. It's now 2026, and we get told that this thing doesn't have a script. So, for fans of the iconic villains, it was considered an exciting development. Really? Why? So, it just sounds like it was going to be a movie based on two villains from Batman and whatnot, without Batman again. So, we haven't heard much about the project since, though some fans argued at the time that it was a little odd for James Gunn and Peter Safran to seemingly prioritise those two over the likes of Batman and Wonder Woman. That's right, they seemingly prioritised it over Batman and Wonder Woman. Why? Why would you do that? So according to the trade, Greg, I'm not sure how you pronounce this, Mottola, is the current frontrunner to helm the movie. Others are in the mix, but it's still early days for the project. DC Studios doesn't even have a script at this stage, and no contracts have been prepared yet as the project continues to remain in development. So none of these things get greenlit. According to James Gunn, if you remember, absolutely none of them get greenlit unless they have a finished script. And what did we just read right there in all of this area right there? Oh yeah, no contracts have been signed, but more importantly, it doesn't even have a script yet. So no script, and yet this thing seems to be getting made. Why? God only knows. Why do they keep prioritizing this garbage over everything else? Oh, we're not going to push for a Batman as of yet. Okay, so what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to push for a Deathstroke and Bane team-up movie. It's like, what in God's name are we doing here? And they can't figure out how to even get these two on screen together. I don't know. So you can even see from other articles like Bane and Deathstroke movie was first reported in 2024. The Bane and Deathstroke movie first surfaced in September of 2024 under the James Gunn Peter Safran led DC Studios. As previously covered, Matthew Orton was reported to be developing the screenplay. Orton wrote for Marvel's Moon Knight and also has a writing credit on Captain America Brave New World. So two things that failed, and again, these people write these things that fail, and yet they get jobs in these other massive companies. It's ridiculous. But again, he's been brought on board since 2024, and yet nothing has moved forward with this movie. Nothing. No casting options, no development in the story, no script for the story, Nothing. And it even says here, as you can see, at the time, the exact plot was unclear. It was also not clear if Bane and Deathstroke would be the central figures of the movie or part of a larger villain story. That still remains the big question. So they are literally looking at this going, we're not even sure if the Bane and Deathstroke movie are actually just going to be focused on Bane and Deathstroke, even though it's the Bane and Deathstroke movie. Okay. Does it really make sense now? Does it? What? Like, it's ridiculous at this stage. It really is. How do they come up with this garbage? So, the movie would bring Bane back to the big screen for the first time since The Dark Knight Rises in 2012. It's hard to believe that movie is that old at this stage. Tom Hardy played the Batman villain in Christopher Nolan's film. In the comics, Bane is best known as the villain who broke Batman's back in, of course, Nightfall. And that is the one thing that they keep talking about now when it comes to Bane, is the fact that why do they not give Bane his actual look? This here, it's not the Bane look. He's meant to be, number one, he's meant to be Mexican. He's like, well, I'm not sure if it's actually fully Mexican, but he's Latin American. That is the one thing. That's why he's in the luchador mask, basically. And he's meant to be a brick shit house. Not like just a jacked guy. He's meant to be this unbelievable, huge person, thanks to the drug Venom, which gets pumped into him and he becomes this colossal monster of a man that basically is unstoppable. And yes, he broke the Bat's back. And then, of course, Deathstroke you had, and Bane was created by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan and Doug, how do you pronounce that? Monek or something? And they loved creating. Graham Nolan drew Bane, so he created the look of Bane. So Deathstroke still has unfinished DC business. Deathstroke also has a complicated live-action history. Joe Manganiello played the character in Zack Snyder's DCEU and appeared in Justice League. He was once supposed to face Ben Affleck's Batman in Affleck's version of The Batman. And that is the thing as well. And he's still out there saying like he would love to come back and actually be this character and would still love to join DC and continue the story of his version of Deathstroke. The problem is, if he was to come back into DCU as Deathstroke, he's not, well, you would think he wouldn't be this version, that he would be a different version. The suit would probably be different, same colours you would assume, but different. Eye patch, don't know whether that would be the case. The hair, all that stuff, who knows? That's the problem with all of this crap. Who knows? That's what Bane should look like. Right there. That's what Bane should look like. That's what Deathstroke should really look like. But that's Bane. That's the Bane mask. That's what he should look like. But if they do this, number one, it's another movie that's been basically greenlit without a finished script, because it doesn't even have a script. Jesus Christ. But also, what would the casting be? Gunn probably would just go, oh, let's just bring back Joe Manganiello. He's already played the character. People would be familiar with him, blah, blah, blah. Bane then would be the big question. You would have to basically CGI him at this stage, unless you build a big bodysuit or something. But would they put him in that mask? The actual Bane mask? And would he be Latin American? These are all the questions that we're gonna have to get answers to, so you're gonna have to let me what you guys think of all this. Do you want to see a Bane and Deathstroke team up movie? If they do it, do you think it will just be Bane and Deathstroke, or do you think it would be all these additional villains? And do you, more importantly, think it would be just another villain movie without Batman? Let me know in the comment section.